Funding for the Iowa Girls High School State Softball Championships is provided by
The path to greatness starts early. The Iowa Farm Bureau believes in Iowa's youth and their pursuit of greatness. That's why we're proud to be the title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Each student's effort is important, and when one rises, we all rise to a better Iowa.
Fairway, along with Nabisco, Frito-Lay, and Sara Lee, is a proud sponsor of the Iowa Girls Sports Championships. We congratulate all the schools and student athletes participating in this year's Girls High School State Softball Championships. Fairway, proud to care for the places we work and live. By Musco Lighting, the sports lighting specialists, providing lighting systems for you, your project, and your community. Mid-American Energy and their Energy Advantage programs are dedicated to increasing the awareness of energy efficiency in Iowa's homes and businesses. Information is at midamericanenergy.com. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service. Crew getting in some overtime and extra reps today at the Rogers Sports Complex in Fort Dodge. They've put the tarp on and off twice this morning. Let's hope they are done for the day and they don't have to put that on the rest of this Friday. It's Championship Friday. We have 5 trophies to hand out. We begin in Class 4A as it's the Winterset Huskies and the Ballard Bombers. It is the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union Iowa Farm Bureau State Softball Championships. Hello, everybody, again in Fort Dodge. Paul Yeager alongside Laura Leonard, and this is the Class 4A matchup. Laura, Winterset knocks off defending champion Oskaloosa yesterday, and they're trying to get things started, and it starts at the top of their order with Macy Johnson.
Yeah, she really is their spark plug, and she's the one that makes them go. They like her in that leadoff position. Now, she hasn't gotten a lot of pitches to hit so far in this tournament, but she's gotten on base. She's been very patient at bat. Now, these two teams have met earlier in the regular season. Both road teams winning in low-scoring affairs, one of them going extra innings. You have to expect the same thing here again today, a pitcher's duel.
They call it the rub. That's what Coach Cochran of Winterset calls it, and they're playing the Ballard Bombers. And spoiler alert, it can rain. Anything can happen on Championship Friday.
Now, spoiler alert, that's kind of the mantra of Ballard. They say anything can happen. It's the way they approach the game because, hey, spoiler alert, we could have an hour rain delay, and that's exactly what happened. So just approach the game knowing anything can happen. Go out there loose and get ready to play.
And let's start with the introductions. Let's go upstairs to the public address announcer, Mr. Tim Fitzpatrick.
The Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union's Golden Plaque of Distinction Award honors the Iowa coach who's demonstrated a successful career while making notable contributions towards school, community, and the coaching profession. Presenting this year's Golden Plaque of Distinction Award is IGHSAU Executive Director Gene Berger. The 2017 recipient of the Golden Plaque Award in softball is Dallas Center Grimes coach Steve Schlafke. Steve has been coaching for 42 years and has been the softball coach at Dallas Center Grimes for the last 15 seasons, with prior stops at Garnavillo, Audubon, and ADM. He has led 13 teams to the Iowa State softball tournament, winning 3 state titles at Dallas Center Grimes. Another career highlight was coaching Garnavillo in a 31-inning softball game against Waterloo West in 1986. The game is believed to be a national high school record for the longest high school softball game ever played. Steve has been honored with induction into the Iowa Girls Coaches Association's Coaches Hall of Fame and has been a member of the IGHSAU Softball Advisory Committee and a clinician at many softball camps and clinics. He has coached 4 100-game winners and 2 IGHSAU Hall of Famers. Steve and his wife Luann have 2 daughters, Casey and Yana, along with 2 grandsons, Beckett and Maddox. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the 2017 Golden Plaque of Distinction Award for softball, Steve Schlafke of Dallas Center Grimes. Congratulations.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen and softball fans, and welcome to Harlan and Hazel Rogers Sports Complex and this 4A championship softball game between the visiting team on the scoreboard, the Ballard Bombers, and your home team, the Winterset Huskies. Let's meet the non-starters. First of all, for the visitors from Ballard. Number 4, Molly Hogue. Number 7, Allison Vetter. Number 9, Kate Reitz. Number 14, Maddie Kyle. Number 17, Megan Kyle. Number 19, Megan Hadaway. Number 22, Abby Ross. Number 24, Shea Schultz. Number 27, Katie Sidness. And number 32, Emma Utley. Assistant coaches for the Bombers, Katie Irwin and Kenzie Eiley. And now here's your starting lineup for the visitors for the Ballard Bombers. Leading off and playing catcher, number 25, Skylar Rigby. Batting second at third base, number 10, Rachel Newell. Batting third and doing the pitching, number 1, Abby Carlin. Cleanup hitter for the Bombers at second base, number 5, Isabel Hobbs. Batting fifth at first base, number 15, Maggie Larson. Batting sixth in left field, number 8, Carly Ehrenholtz. Batting seventh, the designated player, number 13, Hannah Elliott. Batting eighth at shortstop, number 28, Bella Johnson. Batting ninth, your right fielder, number 12, Jenna Moody. In center field, number 16, Carly Wilson. Head coach for the Bombers, Charlie Husak. And now, here are your non-starters for the home team from Winterset. Number 2, Ainsley Gurwell. Number 5, Ava Loudon. Number 6, Abby Benshoff. Number 10, Malia Messerschmidt. Number 12, Natalie Drake. Number 13, Corey Pickering. Number 16, Madison Behrens. Number 23, Jennifer Lopez. Number 24, Taylor Lincoln. And number 30, Marley McDonald. Assistant coaches for the Huskies, Jennifer Devine, Carly Olson, Taylor Benshoff. And now, here's your starting lineup for the home team from Winterset. Leading off and playing shortstop, number 1, Macy Johnson. Batting second in left field, number 22, Allie Pickering. Batting third at second base, number 4, Danny Barker. Cleanup hitter for the Huskies and doing the catching, number 25, Emma Loudon. Batting fifth, the designated player, number 20, Jessie Nicholson. Batting sixth, the first baseman, number 11, Grace McDonald. Batting seventh and playing third base, number 3, Mia Olson. Batting eighth, the center fielder, number 9, Natalie Hansen. Batting ninth, the right fielder, number 18, Mariah White. And doing the pitching for the Huskies, number 44, Sophie Stover. Head coach for the Winterset Huskies, Steve Corcoran. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the home plate area. Our umpires, as assigned to this contest by the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. At first base, Mr. Carl Woldridge. At third base, Mr. Tom Sullivan. And calling the balls and strikes today, Mr. Jason Slater. All right, who's ready for state championship softball?
I know we are. Are you?
Finally, finally.
The Winterset Huskies will be in the field first. They are the home team. It starts with Sophie Stover on the mound, and her catcher is Emma Loudon. At first base is Grace McDonald. Second, Danny Barker. Macy Johnson at short. Mia Olson at third. The outfield is Allie Pickering, Natalie Hansen, and the new starter, Mariah White, in right, playing for Corey Pickering. We'll talk about her in a moment. Sophie Stover, Laura Leonard. She got him here on a great game against Oskaloosa. She battled and won that pitcher's duel.
She really did, and she'll throw a lot of different pitches. You'll see a little bit of a curveball, screwball out of her. She said she likes to work the corners inside and out, and 5 strikeouts in that game yesterday.
An ERA of 1.67, and a lot of the pitchers when they get to the state tournament are under 2, and Sophie Stover no exception. Here is the lineup they'll be facing. The Ballard Bombers, who are ready to start with their catcher, the freshman Skylar Rigby. Newell is batting second and playing third. Abby Carlin, the pitcher, in the third spot. The cleanup hitter is Isabel Hobbs. Maggie Larson, Carly Aaronholtz, Hannah Elliott, Isabel Johnson, and Jenna Moody batting ninth, playing right field. Rigby is leading this team offensively, really can get things started. One of their leaders offensively.
Well, she's had a good start to this tournament. 3 for 5 in that first ball game and 1 for 3 yesterday in the semifinal.
First pitch is a called strike from our home plate umpire, Jason Slater. Carl Woolridge is at first and Tom Sullivan at third. And Rigby digs in the freshman, batting .405 on the season. Second pitch is going to get to the second baseman. Going to be a tough play, and it gets away from the first baseman, Grace McDonald, and Skylar Rigby is on base to start the game.
Barker really playing over more towards the first base side and had to really go in the hole to even keep that one in the infield. Tried to throw it from her knees, and then good backup by Loudon, running and trailing that play to keep that ball from bouncing around by the dugout.
Rachel Newell comes in, shows bunt. The corners crash, as you can see on that camera located behind home plate. And it's a strike. So that first hit for Rigby was ruled a hit.
Yeah, that was a tough play going up the middle, and certainly should have been a hit.
Sofer fields it, throws it on the outside edge for Danny Barker, Baker, who is covering. Makes the play, and there's one out. It's the sacrifice.
Well, good teams get to this point because they do the little things and the fundamentals, and you got to lay the ball down. Now, I thought Stover might have had a chance to look at second base to get the force there, but making sure of the sure out, getting that runner at first.
Barker doing fundamentally what she's supposed to do. Lifted in the air, high by the pitcher, Abby Carlin. Deep to center! Home run!
Carlin didn't waste any time on that one. And she got all of that. That ball got a little bit too much of the plate, and Carlin drills it to center field to give them a big boost.
What a shot. We have seen a lot of home runs. Just got her hands extended, didn't she?
Right up in the zone, too. It was belt high, and she was looking for that first pitch, swinging after it, and knocked it out of here. And spoiler alert, somebody could hit a home run today.
That'll bring in Isabel Hobbs. Barely had time to tell you that was Abby Carlin at the plate. It was a fast-moving swinging at those first pitches. They're not dinking around. Pitch from Stover is hit towards short. Tough play, and it's made as Macy Johnson fields it, and Grace McDonald makes the catch, and Hobbs is retired for the second out of the inning.
Good range shown by Johnson over there at shortstop, shows off the arm and makes that nice throw across the diamond to get the second out. And if you're Winterset, you want to get out of this in a hurry and get your opportunity to come to the plate. We sat up and watched a game last night that went extra innings, and it just seemed like neither team wanted to go home. Everybody came up and battled back, and that's what Winterset's going to have to do in this ball game after Ballard jumps out quickly.
Maggie Larson, she's actually the team leader in home runs with 12, and she's batting this low in the lineup. Gets her bat around it, knocks it foul down the third base side. Yeah, Clarksville and Sigourney, neither team wanted to win. We had a 1 hour, 40-minute lightning delay that started around 8:50 last night. We didn't start till about 10:30. and then didn't finish until 12:47 this morning. So I said good morning to you this morning and this morning. That one is low and gets away from the catcher, Emma Loudon. Maggie Larson is one of several players for this Ballard team that has been on a big stage before. She played on the Central Iowa All-Stars that played at the Little League World Series a couple of years ago. And she is going to go down to first with a walk.
Good patient at bat by Larson. Fouled off a couple of pitches and was able to get the walk and keep this inning extended.
Carly Ehrenholtz comes in from the left side and watches that pitch miss. And she checks her wristband. That's something that Coach IGHSAU uses. Calls out signals with numbers.
Yeah, some coaches use that, and some use the old-fashioned way of just signaling in, using the indicator, touching the bill of the cap, the old-fashioned way. A lot of coaches now have gone to using this card on the wrist and using the three-digit code.
Foul ball as Ehrenholtz, the ball hit her in the box, and so she'll come back and do it again. Yeah, the old-fashioned way of what's my indicator, it's my ear, it's my nose, it's the bill of my hat. As our third base camera.
Looks like it might have just got her off of the shin while she was still in the box.
That's something the umpires listen for more than they can see. And that one is ripped foul, pulled right over the first base coach for Ballard, and that's Mackenzie Eiley. Or I'm sorry, that's Katie Irwin down there. Katie Irwin and Mackenzie Eiley are both on the assistant coach crew. As that ball's in the dirt.
Good stop by Loudon. Keep that runner close over there at first base, and Larson had thoughts of maybe sneaking down to second if that got by her.
The count is full. There's 2 outs. The pitch lined, dribbled towards the second baseman, and then picked up and shoveled from Barker to McDonald. And Winterset gets out of the inning only allowing 2 runs, but they were biggies. Abby Carlin with the home run.
Well, Winterset was down yesterday most of the ball game, and they were able to come back to get themselves in this position.
So the Ballard Bombers in Class 4A bring a lineup like this. Maggie Larson at first, Isabel Hobbs is at second, Isabella Johnson at short, Rachel Newell at third. In the outfield, it's Carly Ehrenholtz in left, Carly Wilson and Jenna Moody in center and right. And the battery is Skylar Rigby behind the plate and Abby Carlin on the mound. Carlin did not pitch for the Bombers last season. She played on a travel team. She's back on the varsity, and this is what she brings to the table.
Well, she certainly has had a good season here for Ballard, and you can see the ERA very low. You mentioned it, a lot of these teams that are here in this championship game, their pitchers have that low ERA and a good walk to strikeout ratio.
Keep those runners off base, so that is just so key for teams. And a lot of teams this week having trouble keeping that leadoff runner off and allowing too many walks. Let's see what Winterset can do with this lineup. Macy Johnson, Allie Pickering, Danny Barker, the second baseman, batting third. Emma Loudon, the catcher, in the cleanup spot. The designated player is Jesse Nicholson. McDonald, Olson, Hansen, and Mariah White in right, batting ninth for Winterset. Johnson, their leadoff everything, Laura. Macy is batting .545, 44 RBIs coming into the tournament, 10 home runs, headed to Drake. Lots of great attributes about her. She is the big part of this squad and how they succeed. And we'll see what she can do in this first at-bat as she watches the first pitch go outside for a ball.
Well, she had several walks in the semifinals yesterday. Didn't really get an opportunity to hit. They pitched around her, but you can see with her speed, that's exactly what she can do to start a rally for her team, and that's why they like her in that leadoff spot.
And that one was a tough play right there in front of the mound. Let's take a look at this one again. Yeah, it was a bunt. It wasn't. It was a. But when you're on that left side, they're going to call that a hit. You're 5, 6, 7 feet down to first when you're in that situation.
Yeah, it was a nice little drag bunt, and she's kind of that triple threat up there at the plate, as is Pickering.
Pickering pops it up, And under it is Isabel Hobbs. So there's one away, and Hobbs can't, or Pickering can't move the runner up. That'll leave Johnson at first.
We're talking about those lefty hitters, that they are triple threat. They can swing away, they can lay it down. They just take a look at the defense and see what's going on, how they're playing, and then they adjust at the plate to how they're going to approach the pitcher.
Danny Barker at the bat. In the semifinal, she went 2 for 3, including scoring the go-ahead run, as it's ball 2 from Carlin.
Yeah, she had the big base hit that scored Macy Johnson to tie it, and then Pickering scored on the fielding error of the outfield. They couldn't seem to pick up the ball.
And the catch is made between Rigby and Larson, and Barker is retired on the foul ball. The pop-up in foul territory, and Rigby just flat out knocked over Larson.
Well, you got to have a little communication, and they've gotten 2 pop-ups, and so that tells you that Carlin's got some good movement on her ball, throwing it up in the zone. They're getting them to pop it up, but when that ball pops up, you got to talk amongst the fielders.
Speaking of popping up, look at how quickly Rigby gets up there from first, or from the catcher spot to throw to first. She's a very fiery player. Let's see what Loudon can do here. And it's misses. 2-0.
Well, she knows that she has somebody that is a little bit of a threat over there at first, that could steal. Only 3 steals on the season for Johnson, but she is a player that if she can pick the right time and the right opportunity and the right pitch to go on, she will.
And Rigby's going to go out and talk to Carlin quickly.
They got the 2 quick outs. And now I think going down 3-0 in the count, they just want to make sure that they're settled down. They don't want to have any mistakes here and give back a run right away after getting that lead in the top half of the first inning.
The 3-0. Called strike, Flutter's in there.
Loudon taking all the way, and sometimes coaches will give a hitter the green light, let him swing away, knowing that the pitcher's going to come in with a pretty good pitch, but looked like she was taking.
Same pitch, the throw down to second. Doesn't matter, it's ball 4. And it's a walk for Emma Loudon. So Johnson gets to second, just took her a while. And we're going to have a quick conference here with the umpires.
Right, yeah, I agree. Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. Yep.
Same thing that we're saying. Initially, you know, it looks like maybe it was just ball 4. That's all it boils down to.
I don't know if they're talking about, did she leave early? And if she left early, even though it was ball 4, is that okay?
Ainsley Gurwell will courtesy run. Good slide.
It was a great slide. Grabs it with the hand, but didn't need to go. We'll get some clarification on that maybe in between the inning.
Loudon is the courtesy runner, or it has a courtesy runner now. Let's see what if she did leave.
Yeah, she might have left a step early, and so I'm wondering if they're saying this because it's ball 4. It doesn't matter. I don't know. I don't know. We'll talk to one of the umpires.
Jessica Nicholson at bat for Winterset, the lefty. She comes to the plate with 2 outs, 2 on, 226 hitter on the season. Pops it up out of play towards the consolation diamond. Diamond 2 here. As I look towards the flag, it's blowing in from the east, a little bit northeast. So not a factor.
Well, let's just hope the rain clouds stay out of here for the rest of the day. I know we needed some rain, but
not today.
Not today.
And not here. Can have it anywhere but here, I think. The 0-2 is dribbled to the left, and Carlin will reload again here. And that pitch misses again.
Yeah.
And Carlin, she hadn't walked anybody at state until she walked Johnson to start the game.
Well, I think that tells you the kind of respect that you give a hitter like Johnson at the plate. It's some intimidation, and she kind of makes him think a little bit out there in the field and coaxes him into the throw. It doesn't get away, but that's just the kind of player that Macy Johnson is. She's gritty, she's feisty, and she makes things happen.
Coach called her vocal. And she gets the strikeout. Abby Carlin strikes out Jessica Nicholson to end the threat. So the Huskies lead 2. We've played 1. Ballard 2. Winterset nothing.
It's a big strikeout. They had runners on. We're in a position to maybe get one of those runs back, and you can see the movement on that ball comes in, and then it just tails away from the hitter. Rigby pretty fired up about that after they get the big strikeout.
I asked her about that, why she's so fiery, and she just says, that's what I do. She says, my pitcher needs it and wants it. Likes, feeds off the energy. And how did they get here in Class 4A? Well, Winterset knocked off Sergeant Bluff Luton. Oskaloosa knocked down Mount Pleasant, and Charles City outlasted Fairfield, and then Ballard over Carlisle in another conference matchup in this game. And then in the semifinals, Winterset knocks out the defending champ, and then Ballard beat Charles City in that contest yesterday. And in that 3-1 win for Winterset, they came from behind to win this game, and they're going to have to come from behind in this one, Laura.
Well, they are, and they're going to have to work ahead in the count. They don't want to get behind these Ballard hitters. You want to get ahead, get some strikes in there, and then they need some timely hitting. They had the opportunity in the bottom of the first to get some good hits, to maybe knock in some runs, and they couldn't get that hit. But they got the timely hitting in the semifinal game yesterday, late in the ball game, and that's what got them here to this point.
Hannah Elliott is down on the count, 0-1. Swings and misses on the second offering from Sophie Stover.
So I'm sorry, I got clarification from our umpire, Jason Slater, and he said, so I was way off base, he said he had interaction with catcher and batter on that last one, but because it was ball 4, it didn't matter. So it didn't have anything to do with the runner leaving early, but there was batter-catcher interference, but it was ball 4. Thus, he goes, really, not really a necessary conversation between the umpires.
Stover swings and misses on the up pitch there that you got to see in the replay, and now Isabella Johnson goes behind. So Stover has run out here now, 4 straight strikes to start the second. She's facing Johnson here, and that one misses.
You know, I asked her yesterday, I said, it looked like you were having a little trouble with your plant foot and the hole that the pitchers dig coming off the rubber, and she said, no, it wasn't an issue for her. I said, just, you know, it was just an observation on my part. And she said it was just more of the perspiration and the moisture and the humidity in the air. She couldn't keep her hand dry.
Barker fields and throws over to McDonald. And there's quickly 2 away here in the Ballard second. It was warm yesterday. That was the first game of the day on the other diamond, Winterset and Oskaloosa, and that was warm. It was mid-90s for part of the day, and the heat index was approaching 100. And today we're only at about 80 degrees. Had some rain already. Whole lot of clouds. High humidity though. Popped up. That's going to maybe drift into center, and calling everybody off is Natalie Hansen, and that will retire the Bombers. 1, 2, 3. So Ballard goes back into the defensive side of things, and what are they going to have to do to win today, Laura?
Well, what they need to do is take some chances and maybe on the base paths, if they feel like they have an opening to maybe take an extra base, go ahead and do that. Just do the little things that help you get the advantage, and then play Bomber softball. Don't worry about the other team. Do what they do best. And I think a lot of teams that kind of follow that philosophy do really well because they don't worry about what the other team might be doing, what they possibly could be doing. Know what you do well and do it, and hopefully you'll come out with the win.
Well, one thing that's a big discrepancy here between the two teams is the errors. Ballard has 69 errors coming into the tournament. Winterset only 41. Defense is something that we have seen has been a challenge for some teams. Last night, Clarksville committed 7 errors and still got into the title game. That doesn't happen very often. You have to, especially in the state championship game, let alone in the state tournament, you've got to play good defense.
It's the key. You talk to anybody about softball and what are the keys to the game? Pitching and defense. Pitching and defense. You'll hear that from every coach you talk to, and it really is very true. One little error, a walk, that's really what helped Winterset get to the championship game, because in that 6th inning yesterday, they got the walk, and then they had some errors that were able to allow them, that Oskaloosa had, that were able to allow Winterset to score those runs and go ahead in the ballgame and win it.
Grace McDonald will lead things off for the Huskies, who are 34-7 on the season. First pitch is outside of the zone. Winterset has played, they are 5-5 against state tournament teams that have qualified. Second offering is fouled up behind us. Lost to Valley to open the season, lost to Urbandale. Knocked down Albia, lost to Ballard, beat Carlisle, split with Dowling Catholic, lost to Waukee, and beat Carlisle. The off-speed pitch is off the zone. So, you know, you look at those teams that they play, a couple of those are 5A schools. One is playing in the state championship game later today, Waukee. Line drive, that's a shot in the left center by Grace McDonald. She's digging for 2, and she's going to be in there with a stand-up double to start the second for the Huskies. She roped this thing.
Yeah, great extension, got it out over the plate. Long strides to get her to first base. Took a peek as she rounded first, realized that she could leg it out and get to second base, and that's a good start for Winterset.
Mia Olson will come in. Shows the bunt, gets it down, and it's going to roll foul. And by the time the ball stopped, Mia Olson was already coming back from touching first. She's pretty quick.
You know, this Winterset team in their 2 games here in the tournament only hitting .250, but they found a way to win by doing little things like this, doing the fundamentals, moving the runners.
Harlan goes high on the pitch, thinking if Olson's still bunting, that might have popped her up, kind of trying to play a gamesmanship there. We'll see what the 1-1 brings from Carlin. Swung on and missed. That one was out of the zone, and that had a lot of movement on it.
Boy, that one just dove away from Olson, and it obviously looked good to her coming in, and then it just tailed away. And Rigby really holding that ball there for the umpire, Jason Slater, to get a good look at. He wasn't going to change his mind. It was a little too far outside, but a good pitch.
Same spot as the one before. The 2-2 offering is coming. Swung on and missed. And it's the second strikeout of the game for Carlin. McDonald will stay at second, and Natalie Hansen will come in.
Hansen has some speed, so see if they may try to have her lay one down and beat it out.
She half offered a bunt and then pulled the swing back and swung and missed.
And they're really working that outside corner. They're wearing it out over there. And they continue to set up that way. But these Winterset hitters continue to offer at that pitch.
Another one outside of the zone. Harlan's working the corners here, at least in this part of the order. This is 7, 8, 9 now. And that was one thing that we were told to look for in this game, is watch the 7, 8, 9 as that pitch misses. Which team 7, 8, 9 is going to be the most successful? And that's a good thing to watch, because everybody's, you know, bigs are going to do well. You hope.
Yeah, if you can get lower part of the batting order production, you're going to win a lot of ball games. And there are teams that stack their lineups in certain ways, but I think everybody just relaxes when you go, oh, you got 7, 8, 9 up, we should breeze through this inning. But if you get base hits like that,
and that's going to go all the way to the fence, and that's going to score Grace McDonald. The Huskies are on the board with a one-out double by Natalie Hansen.
there's your lower part of the order of production, right in the middle of the plate. Boy, she unleashed on that one. Knocks in the first run for Winterset.
They had a couple of those pitches. They were working the outside, didn't get the one call, felt they had to come back in. And when you hang one over the middle, good teams are going to hit it. We'll hear more. That's just a little sample. Steve Corcoran mic'd up today. So is Charlie Husak. Both coaches, home plate umpire. We're mic'd up.
We're mic'd up. We should have been mic'd up last night at midnight.
We were just getting that at midnight. We were only halfway home.
Well, Coach Corcoran gave great advice. He said, don't get doubled off. Telling her make the line drive go through. We saw an incident last night late in that ball game where the base runner did not allow that line drive to go through and got doubled off. And so that's just kind of a rule of thumb. They've got the infield playing in here a little bit. Looks like third base and short drawn in just a little bit.
White, not the regular right fielder for Winterset, pressed into duty in the quarterfinals. Changeup is popped up on the infield. The shortstop is underneath it, Isabella Johnson, and there's two away. But the top of the order, and Macy Johnson comes calling.
Well, that changeup, and White just got underneath it to pop it up to get the second out. They're gonna walk her. And so Carlin has no walks in the tournament, and here she's going to have two in the first 2 innings. And you could see Macy Johnson look over at the dugout, kind of give a little smirk and go, you know, darn it, she wants the opportunity to hit. I totally get Ballard's thinking is you've got a really good hitter and one that is #1 in 4A as far as base hits. You don't want to give her the opportunity to tie this ball game. Thing is, Macy Johnson statistically hasn't had the best state tournament, which means she's probably due for this game. Right. Is kind of the thinking if you're Ballard. So that'll bring in Allie Pickering, who popped up to the second baseman back in the first inning. Allie hit a home run in that quarterfinal game. Her sister Corey, the regular right fielder, was injured in an automobile crash on her way to the send-off for Winterset on Monday. And she felt that that home run had a little extra help getting over the fence from her sister. Well, an emotional time, and she said that you know, it's tough because they thought they'd be here together, playing in the state tournament, playing for a championship, and don't get that opportunity. We're just happy that Corey Pickering is okay, and I believe she's here today. She is here. They introduced her in the lineups there. She does have a sling. I think it's 3 broken ribs, a broken clavicle. Could have been a lot worse than it was. Pickering rips it foul. She got around on it. But Carlin gets now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. She needs just one more
And we'll see what Pickering will do here from that left side. She's got 2 runners on. The 2-2. Just misses. So the count goes full.
That was so close, but just in off the plate enough. It made Pickering move back. Now the runners get a move on the pitch with the full count and 2 outs.
So she puts it in play. 2 runners could maybe score. Popped up right here behind, in front of us. So Pickering will do it again. Allie, a junior, she played on the team that was in the state championship game 2 years ago against Dallas Center Grimes. Off-speed changeup, and she got just enough. She's smiling at that. Look at that smile.
She knows she just saved it by the skin of her teeth, able to get out there and spoil that and get another chance at the plate.
Carlin again on a 3-ball count. Carlin on either a 2-ball or 3-ball count has done it to 8 of 11 batters. So she's throwing a lot of pitches, gone deep. So Winterset is working the count well.
Yeah, they're certainly making her work, but they're battling up there. They're being selective.
Another changeup.
I think Pickering's enjoying this. I think she likes this battle and feels like she can maybe come through this one, the victor in this battle, by getting a base hit. Carlin wants a new ball wet out in the outfield with all the rain that we had this morning. That ball came in from the outfield, and Carlin wants one that she can make sure that she can get a good grip on, and looking for that strikeout pitch.
Pitch number 10 of the at-bat is coming. Popped up, infield. Pitcher Carlin calls and doesn't make the catch. It rolls to the mound, or to home plate, and a run will score. Hansen scores. It's tied at 2. That was a mile-high pop-up.
That was a ball up in the zone. Carlin calling for it the entire time, and it just had enough spin, and I think there's enough wind up there today that it moved on her, and Hansen continued to motor around the bases to tie it up.
So Coach Husak was out there having a couple of words, telling these ladies, you've been here before. We'll do this again. The pop-ups that are closer to home, Laura, they are much harder to catch than one realizes. The spin is so much different when it's closer, and they're so hard to catch.
Right, and I look at how much wind is out there now, and I think she camped under it, and then the wind moved it a little bit, and she just didn't make the adjustment.
The 0-1 to Barker is low. Barker back in the first, popped up to the first baseman. And that was a tough play, too, where Rigby ran over the first baseman. Popped up, foul, and that'll be just out of play, or close to going out of play.
And I think that's why communication is so important when you're out in the field. You have to talk, you have to back each other up, especially on these pop flies. You have to have somebody there that, if it does glance off your glove, maybe pick it up before it does hit the ground.
Popped up, that's going to be close to the line, and it is a foul ball.
But that ball started out foul, and it got blown back almost into fair territory. So that's something we're certainly going to have to keep an eye on. And the flag that is in the middle of the complex is blowing directly right to left.
And it is a little stronger. It was supposed to be in the low teens for wind, and that looks like it's plenty high. That's probably the strongest breeze we've had all week.
It's nice.
Unless you're playing defense and trying to catch something. The 1-2 to Barker is high.
Good get by Rigby. That ball sailed, and she does get out of that crowd so quickly. Save that ball from going to the fence.
Carlin, the 2-2. Again, popped up and out of play. We do have consolation going on the other side, game for 3rd and 4th place. And Oskaloosa leads Charles City in that game. And those are supposed to be about a half hour before, but with the delay, they kind of had to start it at the same time. But of course, the other diamond, they're always ahead of us. Again, popped up and out of play. We're going to run out of softballs here soon.
I know. Well, a big credit to the grounds crew here at Harlan Rogers Field, that the way they got the field ready to play both fields, because they had to get the tarp on both fields, fix them up, and get them ready for these teams to play.
Ground ball to short. Fielded by Johnson, and Barker is retired 6-3, but not before the Huskies pull even with 2 runs of their own here in the 2nd. As Ballard goes into their huddle, Coach Husak.
Team on 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
So Coach Husak, in his first season with Ballard, he was an assistant last year, was a youth coach with many of these girls, 6 of them that were at the Little League World Series in Oregon, and that team, you know, there was an incident involving another team, the West team that year. Officials from that Central Iowa team thought that maybe the West was throwing the game to keep the Central Iowa team out of the semifinal round. They protested. They were allowed to, they played it on the field, and the Central Iowa team beat the West team. And I asked Coach, we were talking about that a little bit yesterday, Laura, and just saying, you know, what did you learn from that? Any life lessons? And he said, absolutely. You know, it's those things. And I asked Skylar Rigby, who's up to bat now, what did you learn? And she says, you have to have integrity.
I think that's the best lesson that came out of that whole thing, is have integrity, be upfront, be honest about stuff, don't try to cheat the system. And I think all these kids that were involved in that ball game and that whole process learned something very valuable at that tournament.
Skylar Rigby, Isabella Johnson, Carly Wilson, Maggie Larson, Maddie Kyle, Isabel Hobbs, all on that team. Rigby sends it in the air to right. It could be an adventure, but White is there for the grab, and there's one away. Rigby gave it a ride, just not enough. You know, and Rigby was the one, you know, she's fiery, she's emotional. I said, what was it like to play on that stage versus this stage? Said they're kind of the same. They're both lots of fans, lots of cheering. The softball is great, but she also said, softball.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, I think it is a sport where softball is softball. It doesn't really change a whole lot. There's been some wrinkles put into the game over the years, and but she's right. Softball is softball. You just go out and play it.
Rachel Newell watches the pitch bounce in front of her from Stover. Newell had the sacrifice bunt back in the first. In the quarterfinal game, she was 4 for 4 in that contest against Charles City in the 6-1 victory for the Bombers. And now she's ahead in the count, 2 balls and a strike, as Stover has to deal with Newell, has to respect her approach at the plate.
Well, she's been pretty hot here in this tournament, 6 for 8 in their 2 games, and so you know that she's coming in swinging a hot bat, so you have to be careful with your pitch selection.
She's one of the veterans as a sophomore on this squad. And that was one of those tough issues for Coach, was to blend those young players that had been on that big stage with his veteran players, the 2 seniors.
Well, and that is kind of, it's tough to do, but I think all good coaches and If you have a good group of girls, they figure out how to come together. You get that good team chemistry, and that's very important in any kind of sport that you play. Well, we've seen in many games this week where walks come back to hurt a team. You give it an opponent, that base runner, extra outs, errors that keep the inning extended. You can't have that happen, especially when you've just come back and tied up the ball game. So you want to try to avoid those walks.
And Carlin would like to repeat what she did the last time, but she won't. She grounds out to Barker. Carlin with the home run last inning. She grounds out 4-3 this inning. But it moves the runner up. Newell now at second. She's the go-ahead run, and the number 4 hitter, Isabel Hobbs, another freshman. She too not having a poor tournament. 2 for 4 in the semifinal game. In the quarterfinal game, she had a home run and 6 RBIs.
Yeah, home run and a triple in that quarterfinal game. So the middle part of this lineup for Ballard getting hot at the right time.
2-2's our score here in the third.
She asked for time, and the umpire would not give it to her.
He knows what the schedule is today. Kind of a miscommunication in the middle of the infield, and it's going to be bobbled. But we're going to having a... Was there contact?
There was
okay.
Runner interference, and Macy Johnson was coming to field that ground ball, ran right in to Newell. And I think we'll probably get a pretty good look at this. This ball coming right up the middle. Right there was contact. Right here. And Johnson played it right. Every good fielder does that, knows how to do it, and realized that she could have made a different angle to that ground ball, but she might not have been able to get the out. She was making the direct route to the ground ball and ran right into the runner.
And so that'll end the rally. And let's take a look at Abby Carlin. She's headed to Western Illinois. Here's kind of a look at her delivery. The big lefty winds, really gets the windmill going.
Gets great extension. She's got that long, lean body that she can get great extension off the rubber and get some good leg drive. And boy, does her ball move. She's got really great movement on her pitches.
I think she's probably the tallest on the team. And when you have that height, that just simply lets you get a little more into that simple physics there.
Yeah, it really does, and she gets everything into it. She gets that first initial downward rotation and then back around, and that really amps up the speed for her.
As we go into the bottom of the third, Winterset will send to the plate Loudon, Nicholson, and McDonald. So that is 4, 5, and 6. We're tied at 2. Ballard got their runs in the first, Winterset in the second. 1 error for the Bombers. Loudon walked in the first at-bat. Fouls it off herself in the beginning of her second.
She had a big uppercut with that swing. That ball was on the rise, but she got over the top of it and just drilled it right down into the ground, right onto her foot.
That one misses. Evens the count at a ball and a strike. Carlin looks to the pitch call on her wrist.
I asked her about that yesterday, and she said that the coach will call the signal. It's usually 3 numbers. They look at it. They look at the card on their wrist. Tells them pitch, location, and sometimes they could give you a number 1, 2, 3. The next time, give it 3, 4, 5, but they may mean the same thing. It's a way so people can't try to steal signals and signs and figure out what you're going to throw, and so you need to have that card on your arm so you know what each number means for pitch and location. And the same thing when they're out in the or up to bat, they also give the same 3-numbered code for certain situations.
And the emotion of Rigby tells you it's a strikeout. 3rd strikeout of the game for Abby Carlin.
Going to get a look at that ball out of the zone, and it just kept going and moving away from Loudon. And that ball is one that you got to lay off of. And if you have that as a pitcher going and those hitters keep swinging at it, it's going to make your day pretty easy.
If the rise ball's working, good things will happen. Popped up. Rigby comes back on it, makes the catch.
Another pop-up.
She made it look easy.
And she did
Except
make
you could
that
see,
one.
though, it did come back on her right at the end.
She almost overran that one, and she got up out of the crouch quickly, found it, located it, and then had to backpedal a couple of steps to haul it in.
Well, and that's, I asked, now you'll see it here when we go back to the out, you can kind of see it there, but when we go back to the outfield camera and look in, you'll notice how Rigby will not present a target to her pitcher, and it'll come up late. See how the glove is down, low, and then she presents right at the end. Why are you doing that? And she says, my dad says it helps me on my reaction time. If the ball goes in the dirt, the ball goes high, as opposed to being stationary. She thinks it's a momentum mover.
You know, I think whatever is comfortable for the player, and if that's comfortable for her and it works for her and she's doing a great job back there and she's a great player, that's her routine, and that's what she does. You know, there's not one set way to get things done in softball, and that's her way, and that's the way she does it. And it seems to work, doesn't seem to bother Carlin at all as far as, I don't have a target to pitch to. She understands it, and they work very well together as battery mates.
The 2-2 misses to Grace McDonald, and so Carlin trying to get out of this 3rd here without any damage.
You know, and I like the fact that Rigby, they called the pitch, they threw the pitch, they missed it on the outside, but she pointed out to Carlin and said, nice job, we're going to come back and get her, and they did with the rise ball on the outside.
Strikeout number 4 ends the Winterset rally here in the 3rd. We've played a full 3. It's Ballard 2, Winterset 2, and we are going to take a look at that strikeout again. So you see, again, it's that rise ball. So you feel that Carlin maybe is starting to feel that pitch just a little bit better on the rise. And that's one of those things, Laura, as a pitcher, if you can get the pitch that is your out pitch to work, confidence just flows.
It really does, and if these hitters continue to go after it, you just keep throwing it, and you just keep going up the ladder, keep going, rising up the ladder.
All right, Coach Steve Corcoran from Winterset joins us now, and Coach, you spot him 2, you get 2 back. That 2nd inning was a good one for you. What worked?
Just putting some hits together and moving the runners, and a mistake on the defense's part aided in our success there. So we're just trying to put some hits together and maybe score another run, maybe win a ball game.
Sophie Stover really kind of settling in here. Do you like what she's doing?
Yeah, she's trying to hit her spots and just facing a tough lineup. So hopefully she can continue with her success.
All right, that's head coach Steve Corcoran of Winterset. Thank you so much, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Look at his hat, Laura. But we're going to get to that in a moment. We're going to see the pitcher, Sophie Stover, in her slow motion effort. What does she do?
She's got some really good, look at this arm rotation and good whip with that arm. Gets the extension as well and really drives strong off the rubber.
We'll see Stover again. I'll tell you about Coach's hat when he's back out at the next inning. Kind of a fun little one to hear about. First pitch from Stover misses. And batting for Ballard is Maggie Larson. Aaron Holtz to follow, Elliott after that, and if anybody gets aboard, Johnson. Larson, one of the freshmen. 4 freshmen in the starting lineup. Then Larson fouls it away. 12 home runs, as we said earlier. Just some players just kind of have a swing that lends themselves to home runs. And we're seeing a lot of home runs now, more than we have in a long time. What do you attribute that to? You have to fix the game now in one spot, Laura.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I don't think I can do that, but I'll tell you, I think kids are getting faster and stronger, and I think the pitchers are supplying a lot more power as well with their pitches. You know, you see pitchers pitch in the 60s, and so you're supplying that kind of power, and you're generating that kind of bat speed. I think that's a good recipe for balls flying out of the ballpark, and I just think hitting is a little different. I think they work on hitting a lot more.
Ground ball to Macy Johnson, and makes McDonald work for it a little bit, but keeps her foot on the bag. Nice hands over to first. She had the foot on the whole time. Good call there, Carl Woolridge, the pride of Forest City. Might be a Wartburg College grad too, but you know, I'm not allowed to talk about that at length in this broadcast. Ground ball is foul down the line. That's my one mention of the day.
Oh, only if I can talk about Drake,
hey,
and then I think we'll be okay. We probably will talk about Drake because Macy Johnson is a Drake signee.
And you know what? Drake, incredible recruiting class coming in from this tournament. I know we were talking about that yesterday, Laura. Some of the best players in the state. I think Libby Ryan from Mount Vernon, that's one. As there's another strike, as Aaron Holtz is now down in the count 0-2 with one out here in the fourth, and that one is dribbled just to kind of keep her honest.
Yeah, Drake did have a good recruiting class, and talked to Coach Rich Calvert a little bit about it, and he said, you know, this is the first time in a long time we've been able to get some Iowa kids and keep them in state, not allow Minnesota to come down and steal some of our kids from the state, and they're pretty pleased with the group that they've gotten. And one gal that's not here is Laura Anderson from Boone, and she's a player, a catcher, I believe, that is going to go to Drake, as well as Macy Johnson, and you mentioned Ryan, and then Timmons, the pitcher, that is going to be throwing a little bit later on here in this ball game.
Katie Sidness is going to pinch hit. Sorry.
Not in this ball game, later today in the tournament, sorry.
So Katie Sidness comes in. She is a sophomore into the tournament, batting .267 on the season, .250. So here's the spot to mix up your lineup, maybe catch lightning in the bottle. Winterset had a big pinch hit yesterday from Maddie Burns to change the game, and now Sidness gets a chance here for Elliott. And you know, I saw one of those Minnesota recruits, who's now not a recruit. She's the Big Ten freshman and MVP, Kendall Lindemann. She hasn't gotten any weaker. She's still one of the strongest. She just flat out dominated the Big Ten this year.
Yeah, she really did, and you know what? That's a tribute to her, and a tribute to the softball that's played here in the state of Iowa.
Johnson fields and fires, and Stover sends the Bombers down 1-2-3.
Using that change-up more now, guys. Take it out of there.
Coach Corcoran calling for the change-up a little bit more and digging that out. Take a look at his hat there. I want to talk about that for a minute. His coach has been at this for a long time. He's coached everything that they have at Winterset. And he, I said, that's that hat you've had for a long time. It's not black. The colors for the Huskies are black and yellow, and it looks more brown. And he says, yeah, I was going to get a new hat this season, but we started playing so well about 6 games in. I'm like, I'm not going to mess with the mojo. I'm just going to keep that. Maybe I'll get a new one next year. Coaches and their superstitions.
Well, I don't know why he'd even get a new one for next year. They're going to have a lot of these players back. They're a young team, and they'll graduate Johnson, but they've got most everybody back. So keep that hat going. I think it's good luck.
Sun-drenched. Nice work by our camera crew. We have them all over here. They had to buckle down in the rain earlier on, and as you look behind home, there is a look. And we also have a couple out in the outfield on top of the dugouts. We have looks in the dugouts. Great work by this crew as always, and we're just keeping that rain and the sun away. There's our spot behind home, and that's plexiglass, so it's not an open spot, so that ball won't come flying in. And that plexiglass did get hit a couple of times yesterday in the key game towards the end. Winterset, bottom of the order. Olsen, Hansen, White. 7-8-9. Olsen struck out her last time. Looks at a strike on this first one. Batting here in the fourth. Both teams kind of settling in. Good pitchers duel.
We kind of thought we might see that, knowing that the scores of their 2 games in the regular season were 3-2 in 10 innings and 2-0 in a regular 7-inning game. So not a lot of runs scored between these 2 teams.
Harlan, the changeup, misses. And in both of those games, Harlan started one and relieved in the other. And Hannah Elliott, who was the pitcher last season for Ballard, she started the one, finished the other.
Well, they do have 2 really good pitchers for Ballard. And so if by chance Harlan gets into trouble, which I doubt will happen, they do have another great pitcher in Hannah Elliott that they can go to. And she actually leads 4A with ERA of 0.91. So she is definitely a good backup in the bullpen.
Olsen is on with a hit to second.
Gets that ball on the outside corner and just goes with it. Shoots it up the middle. Good range by Hobbs. Just slips as she throws. It would have been very close over at first.
7-8-9. What can your 7-8-9 do for you? The bunt is foul by Hansen. Hansen had a RBI double back in the second that evened the game. Or she scored the run that evened the game, but she had the RBI, the first RBI of the game. So Harlan's going to have to dig down here. She is ahead on Hansen. 4th hit of the game for the Huskies, looking for number 5 on this pitch. The ball sails out of the zone again, trying to anticipate that bunt. Little gameship there.
Outside and up high, trying to get her to offer at that. And a lot of pitchers have different philosophy as how do you approach that player that's going to bunt. And more often than not, they go with that rise ball. I've talked to a couple of pitchers that say, no, we like to go with that drop ball and have them just be over the top of it and foul it off.
Let's take a look from behind center field, and you can see how it's fouled away to the right. A lot of people sitting out there in the outfield have made the trip from Ballard. It's not a town. If you're trying to find on a map, the school is in Huxley, which is south of Ames, north of Ankeny and Des Moines. The 1-2 misses. Huxley Battle includes Slater in that district. Winterset, south and west of Des Moines. These two are conference foes. The 2-2 to Hansen. Changeup lifted high in the air. Quite a ride. Was the park going to hold it? No! Home run! Natalie Hansen, touch 'em all!
Big celebration at home plate, and Natalie Hansen almost ran over Mia Olsen because she was waiting to see if that ball was going to be caught. So she got off first base just enough, but Waite keeps the hands back on that changeup, gets it up into the jet stream. Rigby, I think, knew it right away, and you could see Wilson trying to get out there, but it just ran out of room.
White tart right above that red sign for a college in Pella. I'm not allowed to say that, like only one per game. No, that's a great hit. So that's the second for Hansen, 7-8-9. She's the 8th place batter, Laura. She has done wonders for Winterset today. And now the number 9 hitter, Mariah White, bunts it foul, trying to get on again, and there's nobody out.
Well, that was a really nice at bat, and you could see the way that she kept the hands back. She knew that changeup was coming, or saw it coming, and she adjusted and was able to unleash and extend.
Off the pitcher's glove. Over to first is Hobbs. Nice play there. Sometimes when the pitcher touches it, it disrupts the timing. But Hobbs was quick. Hobbs' hands there. She's got the ability to just capture things real quickly and get rid of it. But at second, you have to.
You do, and she does a good job of getting to it quickly as well. Good footwork and getting in on those slow rollers, and gets herself and her feet positioned to be able to pick the ball and make the quick throw.
Macy Johnson intentionally walked in her last at-bat, so she's 1 for 1 in the game. Lifts another one high in the air to right. This one has a chance, but it is misplayed and right, and Johnson's digging for 3, and she'll be there with a stand-up triple. She's gonna go home. Here's the throw, the play at the plate. Safe!
That's why you never give up on a fly ball. You keep running them out. That ball was lifted to right. She was digging hard the entire time, and once she saw it hit the ground, she made the turn at second. It gets misplayed, and she was ready to stand on third, happy with her triple. And she's able to look at that slide. She gets around it, contorts her body around the tag, and touches the top corner and the tip of the plate.
That'll be shown in textbooks for generations to come on how to slide at the plate. Rigby just kind of looked the umpire down thinking she'd made that tag. That's a triple plus a base, right? So the triple plus 1. Doesn't matter, it's 5 runs on the board for Winterset now. Yeah, I'm guessing it's an E9. We're going to clarify that on the throw.
On the throw, I don't think it's
on the throw into third.
Yes.
Sorry, not the throw from third. We'll let Chris Andringa and upstairs deal with that as Allie Pickering fouls the first offering up. So Johnson needs a double and a home run for the cycle. She's already got the triple and the single out of the way. 5-2 here in the 4th. Pickering pops it up, back up to that press box. I think a fan just made a nice catch, by the way the crowd's reacting. We are underneath the bleachers here at Harlan Rogers in Fort Dodge, on the north side of Fort Dodge. Pickering, she fouled off 11 or 10 pitches in that last at-bat, and popped one up that Carlin struggled to catch. It went off her glove. But then that didn't score. There was no more damage after that. But that came at the end of a very tough second inning for Ballard. Pickering, the 1-2. Change up again.
Looks like we have Hannah Elliott maybe going down to the bullpen to get loose.
And sometimes you can't read too much into that, because sometimes coaches will do that, either to get your opponent to be thinking, or you're really going to put her in.
I think Carlin's done a good job. She's just had a couple of mistakes, gotten some balls that have been hit high into that wind, or with the wind, not into it, but with the wind, that have carried out of here.
And Moody, that was a tough play for her in right. Popped up infield, but drifting foul, and caught in front of the Winterset dugout. It's Rachel Newell. And now there's 2 outs. Already 3 in for the Huskies this inning, and Danny Barker will come in.
You look up and down these lineups for both of these teams, very young. Not a whole lot of seniors on either of these teams. So you have to expect you may see these 2 teams competing here again next year.
Parker grounds out to Hobbs to end the inning, but not before the Huskies score 3 and pull ahead 5-2.
Well, and that was quite an inning. They were able to string some hits together, and we talked about one of the keys in this ball game for Winterset was timely hitting, and they certainly got it in this inning in the fourth, where they were able to get the home run, the triple, and then score on the error. And so they strung it together. They took advantage of some miscues, and they were able to extend this lead, get away from that tie ball game, and extend the lead by 3.
All right, and Winterset 5-6-0, Ballard 2-2-2. Those 2 errors. One allowed that 5th run to come, and that is always a tough thing to deal with, but that is something Ballard will have to do right now as we are getting ready to talk with head coach Charlie IGHSAU, who is from the area. He's coaching Ballard. He's from Polk City, coaching the Ballard Bombers now. And Coach, good start, but what's happened to the bats?
Well, we just got to just keep plugging away, keep chipping away. I don't think we're going to panic at all. We're just going to stay patient. And we still got 3 innings. We still got a lot of outs left out there, and we'll get on. We'll barrel balls up here pretty soon.
Now, what are you seeing here that's giving you confidence for that thought?
I think a tight strike zone, if we can get more discipline and make her throw more pitches and get our pitch and not her pitch, will go a long ways for us.
All right, thank you very much. That's head coach Charlie IGHSAU from Ballard. Appreciate your time. And he'll head down to the third base box here as we get ready to go back up again. He was, IGHSAU coached that Little League World Series team there in 15. He knows these players have been on that big stage. They've been having 2-a-day practices a lot, and they're going to need everything they have. And that's a safe. I think Barker didn't want to give it up. She thought she could beat Isabella Johnson to first, and she didn't.
Her momentum was going right towards first base, and she thought, I can take it there. I can step on the bag before the runner gets there, and it was just, I don't know.
Handed it off late.
It was an interesting play. I think one that I've never seen like that. A little indecision on should she just run it out, try to beat her to the base, or hand it or flip it. And she went with the handoff, and I think that cost him.
Popped up and out of play. So Jenna Moody will dig in. And we'll do it again.
A couple of base hits for Moody in yesterday's semifinal. Looking to get one here. And this is what they need in the 5th inning. You heard Coach IGHSAU say, we're not going to panic, but you are starting to get down into that shortened game now where you don't have a lot of innings left. You have 5th, 6th, and 7th. You got to make something happen, at least get one back in this inning, and I think that's got to be your mindset. At least try to get one.
The Bombers jumped out on Carlisle in the quarterfinal game with 19 hits. And they were a strike away a couple of times in 10 running Carlisle, but Carlisle battled back on them to make it an 11-5 game. Rachel Newell went 4 for 4 in that game. Skylar Rigby, two doubles. And that one is going to be right at Macy Johnson. And there's one away here in the 5th. That'll flip the order over for Rigby. Not often do you have the catcher lead off.
No, but she is really a good leadoff hitter for him, and a couple of doubles in the quarterfinals, 1 for 3 yesterday. She can set the tone, and she needs to set a tone right now for the Bombers. She needs to get something going and keep this lineup moving.
She's a fun player to watch, and she's a young one, so we're going to see her for a number of years. I got the feeling this isn't the last time we'll be seeing the Ballard Bombers at the state tournament. Last time they were here was 2012 when they won the 3A title. Rigby would like to add to the school history with another one. And there's some of that plate discipline, Laura. That one looked pretty close, but Rigby able to lay off.
And that's it. You have to have that mindset now late in the ball game. You look for it to be in a zone. There's a little miscue.
Johnson's going to go to second on the pass ball. It gets away from Emma Loudon. So that puts a runner in scoring position with 1 out and a 3-1 count for Rigby. Schuyler led off the game with a single and then popped up to right. And she fouls it out of play, and she's now got the count full.
We saw Stover work back from a lot of counts. Got herself into a hole yesterday, able to dig back and work the count full. And then be able to get the big strikeout or let her defense work for her. And she's going to have to do that here again in this ball game. She's had 5 strikeouts in both the quarterfinals and in the semifinals.
Oh, that one just off the plate, and Rigby runs down to first before the umpire can change his mind.
Well, she's been back there. She knows what the strike zone is.
That's so true.
And so she knows that that pitch is not being called for a strike when she's sitting behind the plate. So confidently runs down to first. Now they got a little rally going.
Tying run to the plate in Rachel Newell. 6 of 8 in the first 2 rounds. 0 for 0 in this game with a sacrifice and a walk.
And she's second on the team in walks. So again, a disciplined hitter, and that's what they were looking for. A discipline at the plate. Try to extend this inning and push a run or 2 across.
Newell shows butt, gets it down. Stover Fields throws, makes the play with Danny Barker, and another sacrifice that goes 1 to 4.
She's also second on the team in sacrifices, so knows what her role is and does her job very well to get those 2 runners into scoring position.
And that'll bring Abby Carlin. She had a home run back in the first, ground out in the second. Gets her first pitch ripped foul, pulls it down the right side. And now she's going to talk with...
He's not calling that pitch, so just be careful. Wait till maybe she makes a mistake and comes out over the plate.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Right. If you see it, drive it, okay? I just need a line drive base hit.
That's all. I don't need anything more than a line drive base hit. They talk about putting it in play in contact. I mean, that's so true.
Yeah, and if you can put one right back up the middle, if you can put one out, it'd be even better.
Yeah, that's what I was...
But
I'm not asking much of you.
Coaches aren't going to say that. He's just saying, hey, make contact. We need a base hit.
And there's that plate discipline. Laying off that low pitch.
And he asked her, he said, you know, can you lay off of those pitches? He's not calling that pitch. So she's looking for it to be in an area.
And that's the pitch that he was talking about. Ground ball ends the inning and the rally for the Bombers. Easy play for McDonald. And Ballard goes down, leaves 2. Now, just the way it kind of plays out, top of the order could come up in the 7th inning, but it's going to take some work for Ballard. That might have been one of their best chances. We'll have to see what the bottom of their order can do. What can Winterset do for you? Well, they are leading 5-2, Laura, and Abby Carlin is going to go back out and pitch. We did see, in fact, we see her walking in front of us right now. We see Hannah Elliott. And I was at the regional final. Ballard knocked out Denison Schleswig, and kind of talking to some of the folks up there, and they said, hey, pointing at Hannah Elliott, she's just as good. And you had said it earlier too, Laura, and you know, pitching is so important when you have 1, but when you have 2, it's even better.
Well, you look at the 4A statistics. Abby Carlin is number 2 in 4A with a 1.24 ERA. Number 1 is Hannah Elliott from Ballard. She only has 13 starts, but her ERA is 0.91. So those are your two pitchers that you have. That's a pretty good little arsenal to have in your dugout. And they're going to stay with Carlin here, but know that Elliott is warmed up and could be called upon here in this inning if there's any kind of trouble.
Loudon, Nicholson, McDonald due up for Winterset here. That's 4, 5, and 6. As we move to the bottom of the 5th, as 2, 3, and 1 for Ballard, 5, 6, and 0 for the Huskies. And there's a look at who could be coming in soon. I'm not sure if we'll see Hannah Elliott or not, but she's going to watch, and she's got a good seat for the game right now.
You don't want to work from behind in the count, and Carlin needs to get aggressive here and come right after these hitters.
I mean, early on, she was falling behind, or not necessarily falling behind. She was just throwing a lot of pitches in those first couple of innings. She's kind of off to that here in this inning, too.
She's not hitting the spots or getting the call either. And there she gets one, and just they've been nibbling on that outside corner early on in this ball game, and they maybe have just tried to extend that corner a little bit too much, and they aren't getting that call because it is out of the zone.
And Carlin threw 39 pitches in the second, and she's off that. She gets a strike here. She's thrown 16, 39, 12, and 22. So she's thrown a lot of pitches already here in just 4 innings and beginning the 5th. Whereas Stover has been kind of in the teens the whole time, low teens. Off speed, dribbled back to the pitcher, Carlin, who turns and throws over to Maggie Larson, and the first out is recorded of the Huskies.
Loudon just couldn't get the big part of the bat on that one, got it off the end of the bat. Right back to Carlin. Good footwork, too, by Carlin, knowing that with the lefty, she could field that ball, make that little pivot, and toss it over to first.
That one catches the corner to Jessica Nicholson. 0 for 2 in the game. She struck out back in the first, popped out to Rigby, the catcher, in the second, or in her second at bat back in the 3rd inning. Pitches, misses for a ball. Nicholson waits and swings and misses on that one.
Nicholson was pretty much fooled on that one. That was an off speed, and it was moving away from her, and she just kind of waved at it, shook her head as she stepped out of the box.
And pokes one foul out of the reach. Rachel Newell, who grabs it and throws it back to Carlin. And you can see it on her face there. She kind of had that exhale that kind of says, I'm a little frustrated. High, and that's going to be a tough play for Hobbs, and it gets under her glove and goes into the right, or in the center, for a hit. That was a tough play to Hobbs, who was kind of playing her to the right side, and it was to her right. Boy, that was a
big uppercut swing, but she was able to get enough of it to be able to punch it through, and it was, again, Hobbs trying to go hard up the middle, couldn't keep it in play or keep it in the infield, and you're right, she was playing over more towards first base. That left a big gap right around second base, and that's what allows the base runner to get on.
Abby Ben-Shoot will come on and run for Coach Corcoran. The Winterset native played a lot of fast pitch. He's watching a lot of fast pitches, his team. Some of them they're hitting, some of them they're watching. And speaking of watching, that's what Grace McDonald just did.
No, both these coaches played a little.
Both of them, yeah. Fast pitch. That's right.
Fast pitch softball. And Coach Husak played college baseball and then played fast pitch softball. I think he told us he was a second baseman, and that's how he got involved into coaching softball. And he said he's got 4 daughters. 5 daughters. He goes, so I didn't have a choice. I had to like softball. I had to learn to like softball. But he did anyway. He played it out of college, and that's how he got involved.
Played at Waldorf, played at Grandview, second base. Has a business in town. It's a landscaping business. And I said, do you mow your own field? I mean, I know that some coaches like to do that as that pitch is fouled into the stands. He says, well, yeah, sometimes I do, otherwise my crew. And he said the day of the regional final, he went out and edged the field himself. You know, some coaches really, they very, very particular about their playing conditions and the field and take great amount of pride in how that's presented. The 1-2 is up in the zone to McDonald. It's a great setting for a softball game there at Ballard.
Oh, it is, yeah. And they do take really great care of that field. And
lifted in the air towards center, playable for Carly Wilson, who hauls it in for the second out of the 5th.
I was going to say they have great tradition there as well, and so you got to look good. You want to have your field look good, and that helps you play well too when you have a little pride in what you're showing off when you host a game.
4th trip to state tournament for Ballard, whereas it's the 9th for Winterset. So both of these programs with tradition. Fielded by Hobbs to retire the Huskies. So the Huskies leave 1. We've played 5 full innings, and it's been an exciting 5 innings, including some big plays. Ballard got on the board early in the first. Skylar Rigby was on base, and then Abby Carlin came up to the plate, swung on and hit it far into the day sky for the home run. And then an error by Carlin allowed 1 run to come in. And back in the 4th. That one gets away from the right fielder, and Macy Johnson just kept running on the triple. Corcoran sends her, and she scores on the triple +1. An incredible slide at the plate, and that made it 5-2 at that point, and that's where we stand here as we go to the 6th.
A lot of action early on in this ball game, and a couple of big plays, key hits, an error here and there, and that's what's gotten us to the 5-2 lead for Winterset.
And Winterset will go back to the defensive side, and the Bombers will send in Isabel Hobbs, Maggie Larson, and Carly Aaronholtz. That's 4, 5, 6. And Hobbs, she's an emotional one. You know, just out to the right field side here is where the teams make their way from the warm-up diamonds to the north of us, and then they come out onto the field. And that's an incredible walk, because teams that know that that's where you walk in, they will kind of have like a victory tunnel of sorts, and they will cheer on the team. And it's always fun to see. In fact, I see Waukee is walking through there right now. They'll play in the game after us, just beyond the scoreboard in right field. Hobbs watches that one go for a ball, evens the count at a ball and a strike. And Hobbs, you know, emotional player as a freshman. She said she was here as a 4th grader to watch Coach Eiley, and she rips it fair just beyond the 3rd baseman. Gets beyond Olsen, and Hobbs finds a way, didn't square it, but she's on base nonetheless.
Doesn't matter, it goes down as a base hit in the book. She muscled that one out there, just over the head of Olsen, drops it into left field. Olsen playing in a little bit, and that ball falls just fair.
So Larson, Maggie Larson, looks at the first pitch. Larson with a walk and a ground out. So she's 0 for 1 on the game, and let's see what Sophie Stover can do here. To Larson. Ripped, line drive, caught by Olsen, doubled off first, not in time, bobbled by Grace McDonald, but if McDonald holds on to it, that's a double play.
make the line drive go through. Rule of thumb when you're on base, and that was a line drive off the bat of Larson, but right into the glove of Olsen. And Hobbs
you can see
very
Hobbs
close to getting doubled off.
Clean throw, and she's out. Yeah, line drive freeze, right? That's what you tell the Little League kids?
Yeah, but it's hard to do. Because your first reaction is you hear it off the bat, and Hobbs going to get to second base anyway. But you hear the noise off the bat, and you know it's a hard-hit ball. Your first reaction is to run, so it's really hard to make yourself freeze in that instance and get back. It's easy to say, make the line drive go through.
It is. Aaron Holtz watches it go out of the zone. And it's 2 balls and a strike. 1 out here in the 6th. Carly Aaron Holtz, 0 for 2. That one gets away, and Hobbs is going to go down to third. The throw is stopped by Olsen. Kind of makes you worried about if that one gets away and rolls into left, but I'll tell you what, Emma Loudon not afraid to take that chance.
No, and a good job by Olsen, not even worrying about trying to make the tag, just keeping the ball in front.
And drawing a walk is Carly Aaron Holtz. So the Bombers threatening again. They've got 2 on with 1 out. And Hannah Elliott is scheduled. But I think we're going to have another pinch hitter. Oh, we're going to have the same one as before, Katie Sidness. Sidness pinch hit back in the 4th. As Coach Husak makes that move again.
And I think we have a pinch runner over at first. Kate Wrights.
Well, if it's 8, it's Aaron Holtz. If it's 9, it's Katie Reitz.
Reitz, sorry.
But I can't see if it's 8 or 9 now.
I think it's 9.
It is 9, so it is Reitz. So Kate Reitz goes down to first. Good call, Laura. And Sidness bats again, swings and misses right through that first offering from Sophie Stover. So Hobbs at third would be run number 3. The runner at first would be run number 4, and the tying run is at the plate in Katie Sidness. Time is called, and Coach Corcoran's going to take the walk out to the mound.
They're not going to squeeze, but if they do, we're going to get the out. Okay, we don't care about that runner. Okay, so we want an out. She hits a ground ball. Let's get the out at first, and we'd trade a run for an out in a heartbeat, right? All right, here we go.
I like it. I like good. That's good strategy. And give up the run, get the out. You need outs at this point in the ball game, and you're up by 3, so you can afford to give up one of those runs. So just worry about making outs. And he made a good point. You know, in the scrambling of a squeeze play, everybody gets all excited, and you try to flip that ball to home. Just field that ground ball, go to first. Give up that run. Let's get the out.
Sidness fouls it into the fence behind us to our right, between our area and the Ballard dugout, and where the on-deck batter, Isabella Johnson, waits. (0-2), 1 out, runners at the corners. Misses high. How gutsy do you feel? The squeeze really does only get you a run.
It does, and it gives you an out. And right now, if you're Ballard, you want to keep the outs in your pocket.
But a strikeout does nobody good if you're Ballard. It does everything for Winterset. Strikeout of Sidness. 2 away. Stover here is an out away from getting out of this jam. The 8th place hitter in the lineup, Isabella Johnson, who is 1 for 2. She had a single back in the 5th, started that rally, but she was stranded. And that one is in there for a strike.
When Stover coming back, bearing down, getting ahead in the count, giving her the advantage now in this advance. Boy, tried to get her to go after that pitch and just kind of kept working her up. Said she will throw some rise balls, and there was one of them.
Ripped foul into the camera well, and we'll do it again for Isabella Johnson.
Now coming into the tournament, 221 strikeouts, good for number 5.
Swing and a miss. Oh, pulled the string on her, Laura. Oh, wow.
And she got a big one there and came back with one. She's not had a ton of strikeouts in this tournament, 5 in both games. Got a crucial one there with the off-speed.
And now the Bombers have left 6 on base through 6 innings. The 3rd strikeout for Stover. And Winterset here looking for insurance. As the home team on the scoreboard, they'd like to get a couple more. They will send 8-9-1. So Carlin's going to have to face Macy Johnson again. Will it be with 2 on or 1 on? Will be up to her. Carlin's going to have to get ahead. She's thrown a lot of pitches, Laura.
Yeah, she does need to work ahead in the count. It needs to make this a quick inning for them and then give them their opportunity to come up to bat and try to tie this thing up or go ahead in the 7th inning.
Carlin's already thrown 105 pitches, and she still has to pitch the 6th. Stover has only thrown 89. So Ballard scored first. That's where their 2 runs came from. 4 hits, 2 errors. One of them led to a run. And Winterset, 2 in the 2nd to tie it, and then that 3-run 4th, 5-7-0 for the Huskies.
You know, and you see that 2 in that top line for Ballard with the errors. And those are the things that really come back to hurt you. And you can't afford to have those errors. And both times, Winterset was able to capitalize on those.
Both errors led to runs. 1 in the 2nd and 1 in the 4th. Carlin will face Natalie Hansen. Hansen, 2 for 2, and it's been a big 2 for 2. The number 8 hitter. She had a double in the 2nd, a home run, a 2-run bomb in the 4th. Bats here in the 6th. You know, we talked about the home runs, the speed, the strength. I mean, let's face it, the girls of today are lifting a lot of weights. They are stronger. Another well-hit ball, but this one's going to stay in the park. Carly Wilson pulls it in. Hansen gave it a ride, just not enough. And the equipment, and you talk about the speed of the pitching. Comes in fast, goes out fast.
Yeah, it's just velocity, and they meet, and the ball goes a lot further. And so you provide power, and you hit it with power. And I just think they work a lot more on hitting than we used to when we played. They're in the hitting cages all the time in the winter. They're working on certain things and technique. And so I think that leads to a lot of the home runs that we see now. Nice off-speed pitch, keeping White off balance. And Carlin, again, wanting to work quick, wanting to get out of this inning quickly to get her team back up to the plate.
Emma Loudon hits it towards Hobbs, who fields it cleanly. So Loudon was batting for herself in that position. It'll be the top of the order. For Macy Johnson, that's the best case scenario if you're Abby Carlin, to face Johnson with nobody on and 2 outs. Johnson headed to Drake. This vocal leader 5-year, and as Coach Corcoran calls her, she's been our best player all 5 years, even as an 8th grader. 10 home runs, 44 runs batted in coming into the tournament. The senior shortstop bats here in the state championship game in Class 4A.
You know, and Drake said that they're probably going to use her probably in the outfield.
Really?
Coach Calvert said that, didn't know. I said, is she going to play shortstop? And he said, no, I think we're going to probably put her in the outfield. She's got good arms, she's got some speed, she's got range, and we want to have her bat in the lineup.
The 0-2 misses.
Yeah, Carlin knew that one was on her. She just kind of turned that one over a little bit too much and looked at Rigby and said, that one's on me. That one got away from me.
The 1-2 misses high, and a veteran like Johnson's not going to fall for that trick. Coach Eiley calls in the pitch from the dugout. Ground ball through the second baseman and into right field for a base hit. A 2-out hit for Macy Johnson. And that'll bring in Allie Pickering again. We talked about Pickering earlier in the game. Had the home run in the quarterfinal game. Said she had a little help from her sister Carly. Carly did make the trip to the semifinal game, is in a sling, is at least in the uniform top, not in full dress, as Pickering pops up the first pitch into the screen. Carly played right field. She was headed towards and she's near the team. She was introduced earlier in the game, and these teammates all kind of having to pull together. And Pickering rips it into the gap between center and right, and now runners on the corner and 2 outs. No, Pickering hustled down to second.
On the throw
on the throw.
Yeah, and again, Macy Johnson on the crack of the bat. She was taken off and running and put her head down and never stopped, and she ended up at third. Pickering saw the throw go into third. She decided she was going to take one more base on the throw.
So those insurance runs are sitting out there at second and third for Winterset. Danny Barker, 2 for 3 yesterday in the win over Oskaloosa. Watches a first pitch ball.
Clutch hit yesterday to tie it up.
Barker, the 1-0, low. Barker, after she scored that run yesterday against Oski, she jumped pretty high into the air. Asked her if she did high jump or long jump. She says, no, I just do track, but I'm very excitable.
I'm just a plain old track runner. I don't do any of the jumping events. That one yesterday give anyone cause to jump high in the air.
Barker, the 3-0, is a called strike. She'd already checked her bat away. Barker is 0 for 3 in this game. And Loudon, who is on deck, is 0 for 2. So the 3-4 hitter's not having the day, but it's been enough. Ground ball to third. Fielded and thrown is Newell to Larson, and the rally is ended. They leave a pair. The 7th inning when we come back. This is Iowa Public Television.
Growing up wild is hard when you've lost your mom, but some orphans get a second chance at a wild life. Danny must build confidence. Neil needs a friend to help him grow. And a little sloth named Newbie battles pneumonia.
See it Sunday afternoon at 1 on Iowa Public Television.
See more of your favorite IPTV programs on YouTube. Follow Iowa Ingredient on Facebook. Connect with all our social networks by visiting iptv.org/social.
Iowa Public Television is Iowa's statewide broadcasting network. IPTV provides quality, non-commercial programming and educational services that make a difference in the lives of Iowans. As one of the last locally controlled media enterprises in the state, IPTV is committed to telling Iowa's stories like no one else can.
It's time for the 7th inning. Winterset leads Ballard 5-2 in the Class 4A state championship game on this, the 21st day of July, 2017, Class 4A. Harlan Rogers Park in Fort Dodge, Iowa. Paul Yeager alongside Laura Leonard and the entire Iowa Public Television Sports Crew. Glad to have you here on this Friday morning. Now afternoon, little late start because of the rain. 9-1-2 for Ballard. The ball is lifted in the air to right, and it's caught by White, who came back into the game. And Rigby will come in and will have to rally with 1 out. Winterset in 2007 missed the tournament on a pitch. They were 1 pitch away from coming to the tournament. 2008, they won their only state title. Rigby pops up the first pitch, and it's caught by the second baseman, Barker, and now they're 2 outs away. They win the title in 08. Last year, Winterset loses in the regional final, and now they are 1 out away from their second state title in 2017. They have to get through Rachel Newell first. Pitch misses.
Well, they got down in this ball game and able to rally back. They did that yesterday as well. They were down most of their game in the semis, were able to get the big rally in the 6th inning. So come from behind wins. Yesterday, potentially another come from behind win here today.
1 ball, 1 strike to Rachel Newell. Ground ball to the second baseman Barker over the first, thrown away. Gets past the first baseman, but a great backup by Emma Loudon. Barker had to hurry, and Newell was there quickly as well.
Look at how quickly Newell put her head down, dug. Barker knew she had to rush that throw, and maybe in the excitement of thinking that they're going to get that 3rd out, she rushed it a little bit more than she needed to.
Carlin lifts it high in the air, but foul. Hits the light pole just beyond first base. Carlin with a home run on the 1st. Ground ball and the ground out in the 3rd. Ground out in the 5th. Bats here in the 7th, the senior. She had any magic left in that bat. 2 outs, the pitch. Ground ball, foul. Fielded by McDonald, and we'll do it again. But now, Ballard down to their last strike.
Well, she can certainly make it interesting with 1 swing of the bat.
The pitch. Fouled again. All you want's a chance.
You just want a chance, and she's given herself that by fouling off a couple of pitches. They've gone off speed with her, low and away, but she's hanging in there and getting a piece of the bat on the ball.
High. 1-2. Carlin headed to Western Illinois. She wants to study chemistry, gets into forensics. She's trying to find some exact science to get that ball on the bat here. The pitch bounces away. It's going to get away from Loudon, and down to second will go Rachel Newell. That run still doesn't matter to Winterset. They need to get the out here.
No, but you're certainly thinking, you know, if you're Winterset, strikeout to end it, and Carlin just thinking now, base hit to put in a run, or drive 1 out, which she almost did, and pulled it deep to right field.
Into the teeth of the wind. You dare throw her a changeup here?
Boy, I don't know. It depends, you know, the situation. She might be anxious at the plate. She might swing over the top of it, but she looks like she's pretty disciplined at the plate.
The pitch. Changeup, ground ball, right side, throw, over, out. It's a state championship. Winterset rides again in Class 4A.
A lot of emotions on both sides, a hard-fought victory for Winterset. They came from behind. Ballard struck first, set the tone. But this was the rubber game of the match between these two teams, each winning on the opponent's home field in the regular season in low-scoring games. Winterset comes out on top in this one, 5-2, with a couple of big rallies in the middle of the ball game in the second and the fourth inning.
Winterset, 5-2 winners over Ballard on pitch number 100 on this July the 21st. Is a ground ball from Danny Barker to Grace McDonald. And Winterset, Coach Corcoran used to teach history. He repeated it today.
You know, as that ground ball went out to Barker, you knew that she took a deep breath. She was going to take her time. She wasn't going to rush anything. And as she made that throw over to first, she breathed a sigh of relief.
All tournament from Winterset, Natalie Hansen. From Ballard, Isabel Hobbs. From Winterset, Macy Johnson. From Carlisle, Olivia Dubois. From Charles City, Sienna Sundberg. From Mount Pleasant, Shai Glaw. From Oskaloosa, Alexis Grote. From Ballard, Skylar Rigby. From Winterset, Danny Barker. From Ballard, Rachel Newell. And this year's 4A All-Tournament Team Captain from Winterset, Sophie Stover.
Sophie Stover, the captain of the Class 4A All-Tournament team there. A lot of good players, and some of them we will see again. As Natalie Hansen, you know, who had the game-winning home run in this contest for Winterset, also joined by her teammates Macy Johnson and Danny Barker, and Sophie Stover is the captain, and then Ballard, Isabel Hobbs, and Skylar Rigby, Rachel Newell on the team, and then Sienna Songberg from Charles City rounds out that team. So a great game and a great lineup, and we'll see a lot of those players for years to come.
In addition to receiving plaques, every participating player will receive a commemorative softball provided by Iowa Farm Bureau, title sponsor of the Girls Athletic Union. Presenting awards are members of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union Board of Directors. Shan Seibert, Deanne Kramer, George Tracy, and Greg Ebling. Congratulations to the runner-up in Class 4A, head coach Charlie Husak and the Ballard Bombers. Congratulations on an outstanding 2017 softball season. And your 2017 Class 4A state softball champions, head coach Steve Corcoran and the Huskies from Winterset.
The Huskies trailed 2-0 in this contest, Laura Leonard, but they were able to come back. They tied it in the second, went for ahead for good later in the game on a home run. And I added another inside the park home run, more of a Little League style, but they got the job done by doing things fundamentally right. No errors on the game.
And that's what it takes to win championships. Error-free defense and really good pitching, and they got both today.
Fantastic. Laura Leonard, thank you so very much. That is game one. Winterset is your champion in Class 4A. We're just getting started. We had rain to start, but we had great softball right after that. They're going to get the field ready, and we're going to do this all again 4 more times today here on Iowa Public Television. For Laura Leonard and the entire crew of Iowa Public Television Sports, my name is Paul Yeager. Winterset, your champions in Class 4A. So long for just a while. Funding for the Iowa Girls High School State Softball Championships is provided by
The path to greatness starts early. The Iowa Farm Bureau believes in Iowa's youth and their pursuit of greatness. That's why we're proud to be the title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Each student's effort is important, and when one rises, we all rise to a better Iowa.
Fairway, along with Nabisco, Frito-Lay, and Sara Lee, is a proud sponsor of the Iowa Girls Sports Championships. We congratulate all the schools and student athletes participating in this year's Girls High School State Softball Championships. Fairway, proud to care for the places we work and live. By Musco Lighting, the sports lighting specialists, providing lighting systems for you, your project, and your community. Mid-American Energy and their Energy Advantage programs are dedicated to increasing the awareness of energy efficiency in Iowa's homes and businesses. Information is at midamericanenergy.com. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your